Okay, hello and welcome to this video. Let me get that picture up. We're going to talk about what happened this weekend and what the screw up was on the railroad at Mineola. And there's an article from Newsday that I'm going to read to you right now. Thanks to Matt for sending this to me, because obviously Newsday, in all their typical Long Island way, don't want to believe in sharing news, and they'd rather make you pay for it because it's just another way to price us out, right? So here we go. Thanks again to Matt for sharing this article with me, and he's probably going to do a video about this too. And of course, News 12, the media, Newsday is the only media that actually covered this whole thing, this whole mess that happened because of a screw up. And you'll find out why it happened in this article. So, LIRR train delays and cancellation caused by problems during a weekend signal project stretched into their second day on Tuesday, and a key union official is blaming the railroad for outsourcing safety-sensitive work to unqualified contractors. Although the LIRR resumed normal service in time for the Tuesday evening rush hour, service disruptions were to return later in the evening and last overnight, with shuttle buses replacing trains between Mineola and East Williston. The LIRR said normal train service would return by the Wednesday morning commute. The problem stemmed from an installation of a new signal system in Mineola as part of the Long Island Railroad's ongoing effort to install a 10-mile-long third track on its main line in Nassau. Following what was supposed to be a 48-hour service suspension between New Hyde Park and Hicksville for the work to get done, regular service was scheduled to resume in time for the Monday morning commute. But on Tuesday afternoon, LIRR riders were still often dealing with with multiple late and canceled trains that the railroad attributed to ongoing signal work near Mineola. On social media, some commuters remarked that the multiple cancellations resulted in crowded conditions on trains, even though the LIRR is carrying less than 25% of its pre-pandemic weekday riders. Mineola commuter Marco Baldi said he learned of the chaos on the rails when he woke up Monday morning and checked the status on the status of service on the LIRR's mobile app. The train he usually takes, the 5:30 a.m. to Penn Station, and the train after that, the 5:33, were both canceled. Expecting that passengers would be standing in the aisles on the next train, he chose to drive to work instead. Now is not the time to be stuffing yourselves into a packed train, a train that has 3 train loads worth, said Baldi, 46, who did take the train to work on Tuesday morning. So, Christopher Natalie, general chairman of the Brotherhood of Railroad Signalmen Local 56, which represents hundreds of LIRR workers, said that the problems were the byproduct of the railroad outsourcing signal installation and testing work to contractors rather than having it performed by the railroad's own signal crews. Well, there you go about cutting corners. What did I say about this project, this third track project? They're cutting corners. Well, it's right there before you. All right? When those crews were called in to perform final testing of the new signals over the weekend, they discovered immense problems in the installation that took days to sort out. So they screwed up. These contract workers screwed up because they're trying to cut corners. We always do this work, said Natalie, who noted that its members undergo 4 years of training to be certified to work on the LIRR signal system. For some reason this time, they kept us out of it. Because again, this whole freaking thing with the main line is being done on the cheap. On the Babylon branch and on the South Shore, they use the union workers, and that's why things don't break. But on the main line, all these jobs are being done by contractors. So officials with the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, the LIRR's parent organization, said Tuesday that the use of contractors in the signal project was consistent with other major MTA infrastructure efforts in recent years. It's not uncommon when rolling out complex systems to find upon implementation that a particular element needs additional work, MTA spokesman Aaron Donovan said. A software issue was identified in the testing process. Because I don't believe the railroad's excuse. Natalie added that if undiscovered by the LIRR signal workers, the errors in the installation and earlier testing of the signals could have resulted in locomotive engineers receiving incorrect directions and could have even caused a train collision. Meanwhile, Donovan, the guy from the MTA, said, at no point had there been a compromise to railroad safety. The reason why we perform extensive safety testing is to ensure that there isn't a safety risk, Donovan said. So very serious. And News 12 didn't even cover this. Unbelievable. So it just goes to show you just how badly this third track project is. I mean, and if this bridge is anything to go by, the bridge that was I believe this bridge was built in 2005 or redone. And I'm sure if this is what the main line, this is what the stations are going to look like. They're going to already be falling apart 10 years after they're done. I mean, we're ready to see what happened with Hicksville. So, this just goes to show you what I've been talking about all along, that they're cutting corners with this third track project on the main line, and the quality is not going to be there. It's not going to be there. If you want quality, you know where you have to go, to the Babylon branch or South Shore. Because the main line is getting an inferior job. Just look at the bridge over Mineola, over the tracks in Mineola here. This bridge, there was always a bridge here. Somebody remarked they never should have put the bridge here. There was always a bridge here, but it was redone. It was replaced, and it's already falling apart. So it just goes to show you the kind of shoddy workmanship that we are going to have to deal with on the main line for many years to come, sadly, unless there's an investigation. But in order for that to happen, we have to get rid of our governor, and he's not willing to go. It was already in the news that Cuomo is not willing to resign, so he will probably have to be impeached. And of course, I am calling on all the legislators, our elected officials. I don't care what party you are. We've got to remove this governor from power. He is very corrupt, and you can't compromise on safety when it comes to this kind of stuff. We deserve the same union workers that they get on the South Shore here. All right, that's the bottom line when it comes to this important stuff like signal work. Yes, definitely. It's unbelievable, and this is just another thing. Cuomo has been seeking to undermine union workers for a long time. He wants to contract everything out, and eventually this whole railroad will be contracted out, including the operation of the railroad too, to somebody like Transdev, because that's what this governor wants to do. So keep that in mind. And of course, News 12, they didn't even cover it. News 12. You go to News 12, they didn't even cover it. Not even talking about it. They're talking about politics and coronavirus. That's it. That's all they do. Most of it's not even local news. So it's just unbelievable. I mean, they didn't even cover this. They didn't even cover this mess. They didn't even cover it. I mean, there's no local news here. No crime. No transit news, because they don't gear to people who take transit, apparently. They don't gear to people who care about this stuff. They gear to a certain demographic. Put it that way. Although we all are being affected by the corruption. Doesn't matter. But at least News 12 talks about this with harassment. But what about all the other corruption that this governor is involved in with the MTA? No, we're not going to talk about that. And look, it's not to say that the city stations are any better. If we go to CBS, New York, it's the same thing. CBS News, it's the same thing. Same thing. So, no crime, no transit news. Transit riders are just left out to dry. That's it. Thanks for watching.